Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Ammar, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today, we are absolutely thrilled to be joined by Matt Dandurand, founder of ConversionFlow. ConversionFlow is who fast-moving e-commerce teams call when traffic alone stops working. Unlike surface-level CRO agencies that run tests for testing's sake, ConversionFlow acts as a strategic experimentation partner, helping brands validate pricing, product, and UX decisions that directly impact revenue, retention, and profit. Every insight, test, and design decision is aimed at one thing: increasing profitable revenue. And who doesn't want that? Matt, welcome to Founders Future.
Thanks, Mar. A pleasure to be here. Really excited to have this conversation.
Me too. I always like to start from the beginning. So take me on a little trip down memory lane to before you started ConversionFlow. What were you doing at the time? And then what was really the motivation behind starting the company?
Yeah, sure. Trip down memory lane. So around 2000, way back when, I had degrees in psychology, multimedia, and I was also a licensed stockbroker in all 50 states, working on a Reuters pilot to build the first 24/7 international stock exchange.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really fascinating. The project never launched, but it was a fascinating experience. And that kind of gave me my first exposure at the intersection of this vast technology landscape and behavior at scale. A friend convinced me to move to Los Angeles. Around that time, I picked up work as a UI UX designer, eventually worked my way up to becoming a creative director. And every time I would move positions or they would downsize, I would keep them on as a contract, keep them on as a client. Eventually I had, 4 to 5 great clients. And in 2005, ConversionFlow was born. Started as a solopreneur, bought a house. We worked out of my living room. We took over the bedrooms. Eventually, the whole house became the office until we finally had to get a real one. Those were really incredible, exciting times. I would say what was even more impactful was who we were working with. So a lot of the clients that I retained were running accounts with brands like Nike, Coca-Cola, Samsung. And I wasn't buried in the red tape because I was their contractor. So I got to be on calls with some CEOs, some CMOs, growth marketers, and listen to how they thought, what they prioritized, what they were trying to move the needle on. And that taught me early how important UX and messaging and psychology and just clarity are to business outcomes. So we started out as doing digital marketing, then we became a full service agency. But it was about 5 to 6 years ago that I made the decision to cut everything except for conversion and growth optimization. And so that's all we do now. And that was the best decision I've ever made. I only wish I'd done it sooner.
Yeah. What underpinned that decision?
I was burned out. And so I decided to take a step back and I started a completely different business in a completely different industry. And that gave me the clarity and re-energized to come back to ConversionFlow and just take a step back and look at everything completely differently and pivot.
Yeah.
And I only wanted to do things that excited me and that I saw was going to have the most impact.
Okay, powerful. So it was a combination of things that you personally enjoy doing, but also the things that are also the most relevant for your clients as well, it sounds
That's
like.
right. Yeah.
Cool. Let's fast forward to give the listeners more context into what you focus on today. Who would you say at ConversionFlow is your ideal customer? Who do you love to work with? And then from there, we can dive into the different offers, services, packages, etc.
So who is our ideal client essentially?
Yep.
Right, our ICP. I would say that our ideal client is a mid-market or an enterprise e-commerce brand doing between 2 million to 100 million plus annual revenue. They have solid traffic, they have a dialed in ad budget, and a team that's hungry for clarity and speed. Those brands usually have a strong acquisition engines, but they're frustrated with stalled conversion rates or flat retention. or they've got decisions being made on gut feeling instead of data. So they're not
Mm,
looking for an agency to just run some tests. They're looking for a strategic experimentation partner. That's how we like to operate. So
okay.
someone who can help them validate product, pricing, positioning, UX, and are creative in a way that really moves the needle. So we work best with fast moving teams that value clarity. They're not afraid to challenge assumptions, and they're serious
Mm,
about building a compounding advantage through experimentation, not just using it as a tactic.
got it. Got it. Now, when you are working with these mid-market to enterprise e-commerce brands doing between $2 million to $100 million in revenue, what does that client engagement typically look like from start to finish? Walk me through that.
Okay, so I would say the we start with talking about their business objectives. So clarity, right? So we run a deep dive across their key funnel. So PDP, cart, checkout, retention flows, and we map out where they're losing revenue and why. So we're not guessing, right? We're combining behavioral science, we're combining UX principles, we're looking at performance data to identify the biggest friction points at each of those stages and missed opportunities at each of those stages. And so from there, we build out a 90-day experimentation roadmap. And that usually starts with the high impact stuff, the low risk tests. Think optimizing the decision moments on PDPs and fixing those retention leaks and validating the pricing structure. So every test that we run is tied directly to revenue or retention. We're not trying to do button color changes or fluff changes. From there, our team handles that entire process from end to end. So it includes the strategy, it includes the design, it includes the copy, it includes the dev, it includes the QA, the launch, the analysis. We have the resources to do all of those things. Now, a lot of times with these higher end enterprise clients, they have an extended, a very deep dev team, and they'll do some of that themselves. But clients get a dedicated strategist rather, a project manager, plus access to weekly insights from us, monthly
Mm,
impact reports, not just test results, but our goal is to use those or leverage what we do to provide business recommendations and
mm.
help with strategy and growth. And here's the kicker. So if we don't drive profitable revenue gains within the first 60 days, we keep working for free until we do. So we have a guarantee that goes along with that. And that
Okay.
keeps us aligned and yeah, and forces us to think like partners, not just vendors.
Okay. Awesome. Now, is it just a 90-day engagement or is there some sort of ongoing retainer? What does that look like?
Great question. No, it's a long-term engagement, but we don't hold anybody into a contract of any sort of length of time because we have the confidence enough in what we do to keep going and let people decide what makes the most sense. Everyone's going to know if something's not working out. And so we don't hold people to contracts, but we usually like to work for at least 60 to 90 to give the program enough traction to ramp up. Sometimes we get results quickly in the first 30 days, 45 days. It really depends on how quickly the client can move. A lot of times when you get more people involved, things move slower and it's harder to execute. Unfortunately, that speed of execution is the enemy of conversions. The longer it takes to implement, the longer it takes to see the changes, to
Yeah.
do the research, do the testing. But there's no time frame. We want to help make business decisions way out into the future. And we're able to do that with small and mitigate risk so that they can make those decisions.
Yeah, powerful. But it starts with 60 to 90 days and then it can go on further from there. And then you have the guarantee on top of that, which basically reduces their risk dramatically. Now,
Exactly.
walk me through when you think of the back end of the business when it comes to client acquisition, lead generation, marketing, when you're looking to bring on more clients to ConversionFlow, what are you currently doing from a lead gen and marketing perspective?
Okay. So everything we do is built around signal over noise. So we know our ICP is busy. We're all busy, right? They don't need more content. They don't need more cold emails or more pitches. They need relevance. They need insight. They need someone who respects their time, right? First and foremost, we try and lead with value and earn the right to have a deeper conversation. So we're using pretty much three channels. We have a weekly newsletter that delivers actual strategic thinking. It's not fluff. There's case studies, there's things we're working on, there's mistakes that we've made so that people don't make the same mistakes. And that goes out to about 60,000 marketers and operators each week. And then we have outbound that's handcrafted. It's not spray and pray. Again, we're trying to respect people's inboxes. And that's, again, value led. So we're trying to lead with tailored teardowns or insights that are tied directly to their business and lead back to us helping with that process or speeding up that process. And then we're also active on LinkedIn. And again, that speaks to leading with value, trying to prioritize what's going to help them. And then once someone's engaged, we shift into a consultative sales approach that's rooted in, again, clarity and alignment, like aligning with their business objectives. And that's actually influenced heavily by closers.io. So you guys, I had the luxury of working with Cole directly back in the day. I think when I was on, who I was working with at the time, we were one of the first people that
Oh,
got
no way.
the training. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
That's
Pretty
awesome,
sick stuff.
man.
Yeah. And then, so we combine that with Blair Enns' Win Without Pitching.
Cool.
And our approach is not about convincing, it's about diagnosing and
Yeah.
earning trust. In all of that and everything we do, our North Star is trust, because that's the currency these days with
Yeah.
how busy people are and just how much noise is out there. And AI has just flooded the market with so much more. So we've found that when we lead with relevance, demonstrate that expertise before the sale, then the right clients tend to lean in. And then because they know we're not selling outputs, we're partnering with
Yeah.
outcomes.
Yeah. I love that. I completely agree. Obviously, I'm fully bought into the consultative sales approach, especially in today. People are always throwing around the word trust recession. You
Yeah.
want to be able to build that trust with your client. And a
Yeah.
lot of that comes from gathering data. I can't tell you how many times I've reviewed a call and you're 10 minutes into the call and they're already trying to get into the pitch and all this stuff. It's like
Yeah.
you don't even know enough about them. It's like you have to have that doctor, that detective mentality. Now,
Exactly.
one thing I want to dive deeper into a couple of different things. So you mentioned outbound. It's personalized, it's tailored, it's super targeted, it sounds. Is that like cold email? Is that cold calling? You also mentioned LinkedIn. What does that outbound actually look like?
It is cold emailing. And so we lead with something that we're working on, a case study or something valuable. And
Cool.
then we follow that with our guarantee,
Nice.
our hook. And then we ask them if we can send them something else valuable or something else helpful, or if we can help them with a problem. So that's our formula.
Yeah. Of the three approaches that you laid out, which have you found to be the most effective?
That's a difficult question to answer because the cold email, it's easier to see results right away. We either get an appointment or they respond positively and we start the conversation. So I would say that's the easiest one to measure and the easiest one to see the direct results. With the newsletter and the LinkedIn, that's a long term, that's a long play, right?
Yep.
So we just have to know that people are gaining insights from that and are circling around to
Yep.
us eventually and scheduling an appointment or asking for more information.
60,000 people in the newsletter. That's a very good number.
Yeah,
Obviously, you've
we're
been
pretty
in
proud of
business
that.
for a while. Yeah, you've been in business for a while, so I can imagine that this happened over a number of years. But what did you find to be the biggest catalyst to get people signed up? I know that there's some people I was talking to that do paid ads to get newsletter opt-ins. There's people that just rely on organic. What was your approach there to get people to actually opt in?
Yeah, we usually, as part of our email marketing, we'll ask them if they want to continue receiving insights.
Okay.
And so we drop the pitch and end with, can we keep talking to you? Can we add you to our list and just keep providing you with value, as opposed to, okay, we sent them the 3 emails, this followed the formula and they didn't bite. Let's just move on to the next list.
Mm,
We actively say, can we keep this going? If you didn't unsubscribe to us or you didn't say something nasty, get out of my inbox, then let's keep it going. And a
yeah,
lot of times, not everybody,
of
but
course.
a lot of times people are cool because we've started the conversation in a cool and respectful way, as opposed to just AI trying to find something on about them on LinkedIn and insert it unnaturally. But and they're like, oh man, I haven't updated my LinkedIn profile in a couple of years, and this guy's talking about something I did 5 years ago or whatever.
Yeah, very cool. So you're leading with value, and the campaigns that you're already doing, you're asking if people want to continue the conversation, so to speak, or want to continue receiving value.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I'm sure
Because
that turns into appointments in the future.
yeah, yeah, because there's no reason we shouldn't keep the conversation going. We're reaching out to our email marketing. We're reaching out to 2,500 people a week or whatever it is.
No,
We can continue to add people that way. Yeah.
100%. With the sales process, are you the one running that? Do you have a team? What does that look like?
Yeah, great question. Our team is really simple, really intentional. We start with a discovery call that's about them and their business model, their goals, what's working, what's getting in the way. We're not pitching, we're listening. And then if there's alignment, then we move to collaborative deep dive. So we bring in our team, they bring in theirs, we unpack things together. We talk
Hmm.
about metrics, we talk about constraints, team dynamics, opportunities, and we establish a baseline together for where they are. And then we establish specific goals and the time frame that they want to, like how aggressive do they want to reach those goals. And that way both of our teams are not guessing. Like we've already established like what we're going to do right on that call, and then that gives us the ability to go back and put together a few tailored options. And we give all of our potential clients 3 options so that they're not stuck feeling like they have to choose one. It's not binary. It's not a yes or no with this one thing. And then the psychology of decision. So 3 options gives them control or power back, right, to make one of those decisions. And so we bring that back, no surprises, no pressure. We're super transparent about our process, about our outcome driven paths that make sense for where they're at and where they're trying to go.
Yeah,
So we're not trying to close anybody on the first call. We're trying to create clarity. It's a big decision and
yeah,
make sure there's alignment moving on both sides.
I love that. Powerful. And this is very interesting. So the second call, it's not like a one-on-one. It sounds like there's multiple people from both sides.
Yes. Yes.
Wow, very
Whenever
cool.
possible,
Yeah,
we try and bring in the people that are going to be part of the decision making process.
yeah.
And that's incredibly important to us because a lot of times people in these with these brands are required to go out and talk to 3 different agencies, but they've maybe even have one already in mind that was maybe a referral that they're feeling strong about already, and whether they realize it or not, they're leaning this one way. They might just be going through the motions. So it's really important for us to be disruptive to that process and not just be another box that they have to check. We have to reposition ourselves as, wow, okay, these guys are different. Maybe we
Yeah.
better stop and take a moment and see what's going on with these guys.
Yeah, I love that. What's your vision? Like when you think over the next, let's say, 12 months, where you want to take the company, are there any specific revenue targets, performance targets, or just goals in general that you're aiming for?
Mm, I would say right now it's about focus and repeatability. So I'm doing research actually right now about finding some blue ocean opportunities and conversion rate optimization. So we're leaning into verticals where the impact of CRO is going to be massive, but it's still overlooked.
Mm,
So to me right now, that's subscription e-commerce. It's complex B2B buying flows and it's DTC brands that they're past that early traction stage and they're starting to feel the weight of scale decisions, right?
Yeah.
So that's our sweet spot. So second, we're tightening our outbound, and that's not just about more volume. That's about smarter targeting and finding stronger signals and more content that builds that trust early. So it's not about shiny tactics for us. It's about sharpening what already works, removing friction from how people find and evaluate us, and getting in front of better fit clients earlier with more clarity. So if we get that right, everything downstream is going to become easier. The conversations, the close rate, client experience.
Have you thought about running like paid ads, Meta, anything like that?
I think about it all the time, but it's really expensive in conversion optimization in our industry for some reason. And
Get your ideal client on a call. It's expensive.
with paid advertising.
Yeah.
So we usually have the most success with our cold emails.
Got it. Yeah.
And that expense is just whatever's internal, what we're already doing.
Yeah. For the people that are interested in working with you, what is the best way for them to reach out?
The best place to start is our website, ConversionFlow.com. We've got case studies there. We've got our methodology, so it breakdowns how we think. Those case studies also, they go deep into what we do. That we don't just mail it in and give the highlights. And then you can sign up for our weekly newsletter, get insights, what's working with. And then I'm active on LinkedIn, so you can find me on LinkedIn. And then again, I'm sharing value there. And if you're a growth or marketing leader looking to scale smarter, feel free to reach out to me, book a call, strategy session. You can do that through our site as well. And I just want to say that even if we're not the right fit, I will make sure that the conversation is worth having.
Yeah. I love that. Matt, thank you so much for your time today.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ammar. I appreciate it.
Anytime. So that wraps up another inspiring episode of Founders Future. To our listeners, if you enjoyed this conversation, don't forget to go to ConversionFlow.com. ConversionFlow.com. You can connect with Matt on LinkedIn. We'll tag it somewhere around here. And if you are a business owner, specifically coach, consultant, agency, or some sort of SaaS provider, and you're really looking to scale your business and enhance your sales and marketing efforts, visit closers.io to discover how we can support your growth journey. Until then, keep on climbing.